Welcome to the VidConcierge Show, the podcast that helps health professionals master their delivery, speak with clarity, and show up on camera like the trusted expert they are. In each episode, you'll learn practical techniques and expert insights to elevate how you communicate on video so your message lands, your presence connects, and more people see you as the trusted authority in your field. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome back. It's Dr. Walter Salubro here. And in this episode, we're going to fix one of the most common things I see health professionals do on video, and it's sounding or appearing flat or monotone. How do I know that? Is because that's how I started. In my first several videos, if you take a look at them on my YouTube channel, they're still there. I sounded nervous. I sounded flat. I sounded very monotone. In fact, they're almost kind of, I didn't even want to look at them sometimes, but it was a good learning experience. So if you ever played back one of your videos and you thought that you sound monotone, well, you're not alone. So most of the time, you're probably speaking very clearly, you're explaining things very well, and you're being very helpful with the content that you're delivering. But something just feels off. And that off feeling often comes down to your vocal tone. How you sound shapes how people perceive you. So a flat voice can make you seem unsure, unprepared, sometimes even unprofessional, or even seem or appear disinterested, which is the exact opposite effect that you want, because you're not creating a video to lose interest, but appearing monotone creates that effect sometimes. But here's the thing, if your voice doesn't sound confident or compelling, or it tunes people out, then it's not gonna get anywhere. You're not gonna grow with your channel on YouTube. So let's talk about how to make sure that does not happen. We're gonna cover 3 simple techniques to improve your tone on video that'll help you sound like a trusted expert that you are every single time you hit record. So let's start with technique number 1, the emotion mirror. So here's a very, very helpful rule. Your tone should mirror the emotion that you want the viewer to feel. Let me repeat that. Your tone should mirror the emotion that you want the viewer to feel. If you want them to feel hope, you need to sound hopeful in your tone. If you want them to feel urgency, your tone needs to carry that urgency throughout. If something is serious or alarming, then you have to have that undertone of alarm. So many health professionals speak in a calm, gentle tone because that's how they talk to patients in the office. And that's very normal on a day-to-day basis. But on video, that can sometimes come across as flat or boring. And you don't want to be boring on video, not at all. So here's an example. Let's say that you're explaining a treatment option for disc bulge recovery. So if you say this sentence, this technique can help relieve pressure on the nerve. If you say that in a dull, neutral tone, it lands very soft. And in fact, you're not going to get your point across because you're losing the viewer's attention. But if you say it with just a bit more lift in your voice, more interest, more intention, more impact, it suddenly sounds more trustworthy, more engaging, and worth listening to. So let me repeat that with changing my tone. Okay, so this technique can help relieve the pressure on your nerves. It sounded quite different, didn't it? So what do you want them to feel right now? Let your tone dictate that. Let the emotions follow based on what you want them to feel in your video. That's the key thing that you need to ask yourself every single time you're creating video content. Technique number 2, volume and speed check. Your vocal tone is not just about pitch, it's also about your energy. And I always try to be energetic in my videos, in my voice projection, in my tone, in my actions, in my hand gestures. If your voice gets too quiet or too slow or too low, you sound like you're unsure or tired, or like you don't even want to be there. And if you don't want to be there, or you come across like that, then your viewers are not going to be there. Again, that's going to hurt your watch time retention, percentage watched, and your channel will not grow at all. So if it's too fast, you'll also sound nervous and rushed. So you need to adjust, okay? So how do you adjust? Record yourself saying a line 3 different ways. Once, looking bored or sounding bored. Another one, appearing very excited. And then the third one, like you're focused and confident. Then play back all 3 of those clips. You'll notice that the confident version will always have a slightly more volume, a steady pace, and more clear energy. And that's the one that you're probably most attracted to watching as well. So let's give it a shot. Let's try it with this sentence here. So here's the sentence that we're going to practice with. Most disc bulges don't actually need surgery. So let me try saying this softly. Most disc bulges don't actually need surgery. Let me say this fast. Most disc bulges don't actually need surgery. Now let me say this with clarity and intention. Most disc bulges don't actually need surgery. Now, which one do you prefer listening to of those 3? And most likely it was the third one that had a lot of clarity and intention behind it. Now, technique number 3, anchor emotions to keywords. Pick 1 or 2 keywords per sentence that matter the most, and then that's the one that's going to carry the message. This is very key. This is how you inflect your tone in the delivery or in the message or in the sentence that you're saying. So for example, here's the practice sentence that we're going to work with. So this is the sentence. This is a simple technique that can help relieve pressure on the disc. Now, let me add some inflection and tone on some of the keywords. Okay, and the keyword I'm going to pick is simple and pressure. This is a simple technique that can help relieve pressure on the disc. So you can see how when you change your tone in that sentence, it will get that viewer to tune in a bit more and create a lot of attention to keep watching. That small shift in tone makes the sentence more compelling and more memorable to the viewer. Okay, so as always, action steps. I want you to practice this in your next video projects. Without taking these action steps and practicing, you're not going to internalize these techniques and improve on your video delivering content and how you appear on camera. Okay, so here's your action step. Number 1, record a short 30-second video on any topic that you want to talk about. Just one idea, just one simple teaching point. Number 2, play it back, but this time play it back with no volume. What does your face and energy communicate to you when you're viewing it from the viewer's perspective? Now, number 3, watch it back with sound only. Listen to your tone. Does it match the message that you're trying to portray? Now, number 4, go back and re-record the same 30 seconds. This time, add a smile at the start, emphasize 2 or 3 keywords, and then try to match the tone to the message that you want to deliver. And then play it back and see the difference. See the improvement that you've made. This is how you train your voice to match the value that you're delivering on your video. So just a little recap for today's episode. We learned how to mirror the emotion that you want your viewer to feel on the video when they're watching it. You learned how to adjust your volume and pace so it sounds more confident and engaging. And then you also learned how to use anchors, okay? So anchoring emotions to keywords so your message lands with a massive impact. Always remember, you don't need to become a voice actor. That's not what it's about. But you need to be intentional, just like anything else. The more you do this, the more you practice, the easier it gets. And that's why I want you to do these action steps. I don't want this podcast to just be another thing that you're listening to in your library of audios. I want it to be impactful and actionable to make a difference on how you are acting on camera, appearing on camera, and then how your viewer sees you on the videos. Very, very important. Okay, so what's coming up in the next episode? We're going to talk about breath work, how to breathe for authority. We're going to see how short, shallow breaths can actually ruin your delivery on camera. And you're going to learn some techniques on how to breathe in a way that keeps you calm, grounded, and in control of your voice from start to finish. I'm looking forward to that episode. As always, thank you again for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. That's it for today's episode of the VidConcierge show. Always remember, how you show up on camera shapes how people see you. So keep practicing, keep showing up, and keep leaning into the role as the trusted expert. If you got value from this episode, take a moment to rate it, review it, and subscribe. It really helps the show grow. And if you want a free audit of your YouTube channel, that's by me, head over to www.valtoriamedia.com/audit. Your personalized channel audit will show you what's working on your channel, what's missing, and what to fix next, so you get more visibility and authority with your videos. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time on the VidConcierge show.